Awesome. This summer, I'll be a 10-year member of Hamilton County 4-H. 4-H is an organization where you can show or submit projects ranging from animals to public speaking. Over the years, my favorite project has been electric. I've learned how to solder, built circuit boards, constructed a lamp from scratch, and even worked with software in my advanced years. A couple years ago, I was honored with winning Champion My Division for an electronics project. With this award, I eventually needed to go pick up a plaque in a separate building. In this building, there was a long row of tables with all of the awards on it, and I told one woman who was volunteering my name and that I came to pick up a plaque. She marked off my name and told another woman farther down the line that Riley Parshall had an award for electronics. She found the plaque and looked around the room for a recipient. Eventually, I had to tell her that I was Riley Parshall, and she took one look at me and another at the plaque and said, "You go, girl." Now, it's not at all that she thought girls couldn't win electric. More so that since many more boys compete in the project, and considering I have a completely gender-neutral name, she was expecting someone else. STEM fields include some of the fastest growing job markets in the United States today, including software developers, engineers, and statisticians. In case you're wondering, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. STEM drives many of our largest industries, and it's responsible for some of our world's greatest accomplishments. Innovations resulting from STEM have impacted almost every aspect of our lives, including cell phones, space travel, or medical advances. Of course, innovations resulting from STEM do not arise on their own. Each is brought forth through the hard work and ingenuity of scientists, mathematicians, engineers, and researchers. Therefore, the quality of research and its ability to positively impact individuals, communities, nations, and the world is inextricably linked to the STEMness involved. Anne Wang created the word STEMnist in 2010, which means the advocacy for female representation in STEM fields. The platform for the word STEMnist focuses on women to increase their visibility in the field, promoting and elevating their perspective in this traditionally underrepresented field, and encouraging and increasing female participation in STEM. So today, I'll be first walking through the historical evolution of women in the workplace and their current participation in STEM fields. Next, I'll be explaining the significance of STEM, and finally, how we can encourage and increase female participation in STEM fields. Women in the workforce in general is still relatively new. The Industrial Revolution beginning in 18th century England prompted the centers of production to shift from the home to the factories, and many families worked in factories as teams. By the mid-19th century, women began taking over more domestic and household tasks due to the growing humanitarian protest and legislation against the harsh treatment of women and children in the early factory systems. This, by result, reinforced the traditional role of husbands as the head of the family, simply due to the fact that they were the sole wage earners. The social role of women as the homemakers persisted through the 19th and 20th centuries, and it wasn't until the World Wars that women began entering the workforce again. And it wasn't until the 60s and 70s that we saw a huge resurgence of married women in the workforce. According to the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 1950, there were 18.5 million women in the workforce, which accounted for about 1/3 of the total labor force. But by 2015, that number increased to 73.5 million women, accounting for about 46.8% of the total workforce. Of course, women who choose to be stay-at-home moms are doing just as incredible and significant jobs. However, the fact that there is and has been a choice is monumental. Although women are half the workforce, there still continues to be a significant difference between male and female participation in STEM fields. According to the United States Department of Commerce, women filled 47% of all jobs in 2015. However, they held only 24% of STEM jobs. Women with STEM degrees are also less likely than their male counterparts to actually hold a STEM occupation. There are numerous potential factors accounting for these reasons. Regardless of those, there is still obviously a need to encourage and support women in STEM. Although now it is apparent that we need more women in STEM, why do we really need this? There are two main factors, and I'll be going over the first one, which is representation. There we go. Picture the most influential role model in your life. Are they your parents, siblings, someone who's made a difference in the world? Most importantly, are they like you? Representation is essential, not only to show younger girls that women are fully capable of succeeding in STEM, but to also give women a voice. Because women are more or less half of our population, it is absolutely vital that their ideas, perspectives, and voices are fully expressed. When women equally contribute in designing a product or good, they oftentimes bring a perspective that hasn't been brought forth before. This could include small products, such as Lego, an 86-year-old company releasing their first mini set of female scientists in 2014, designed by Dr. Ellen Kuzman. This perspective holds true in any industry, but especially STEM fields. For example, until relatively recently, men dominated the advanced medical field, including research. For decades, drug development testing was done almost exclusively on men. And for decades, a plethora of drugs hit the market, including antihistamines, antibiotics, antipsychotics, and cholesterol-lowering drugs that were all prescribed to women in the same doses as men. However, sometimes these drugs didn't work as well on women as they did men, and sometimes the doses led to alarming and fatal outcomes. In 2013, the FDA reduced recommended doses of Ambien for women by half, as women take longer than men to metabolize the sleeping pill, and they were waking up and driving with the drug still in their systems. As more women enter STEM careers, their perspectives are impacting and saving lives. This could also include research on ovarian cancer, digital maternity programs, and the recognition of the complex biologic and metabolic differences between men and women. Furthermore, an increased gender diversity also benefits the group as a whole. Research done by Forbes found that all male teams make better business decisions about 58% of the time, whereas gender diverse teams do so 73% of the time. Women must have a voice in technology and innovations in order to consider the needs of both men and women, as well as to benefit everyone as a whole. So now we know that we need more women in STEM and why we need this. But now, how can we encourage it, beginning in Westfield and the communities around us? Getting women involved in STEM is much more than meeting any quota. Getting women involved all ties back to the importance of representation, and we need to begin encouraging girls in STEM at a young age. Between the ages of 6 and 14, children are making significant advances toward adulthood, establishing a sense of self-identity, and becoming involved in worlds beyond their own. Research done by Microsoft also found that girls interested in STEM oftentimes lose interest by the age of 15. These findings, along with their findings of role models, show a clear link between the importance of role models and the increased passion for STEM careers. Excitingly enough, Westfield is already making strives to do exactly that. We have an incredible program called Girls Rock STEAM. STEAM is just STEM plus A, with A representing arts for design. Our very own senior Bridget Arnold organizes it, and I've been participating in Girls Rock STEAM since sophomore year. At this event that was actually held just last weekend, high school girls put on a type of science fair for younger ladies to introduce them to disciplines such as physics, biology, or math. It's held at Westfield Intermediate School for 5th and 6th grade girls in hopes of sparking interest or a possible future career path for them. Last year, I ran an electrical engineering station where I talked to the girls about the basics of circuits and let them build their own out of a toy snap circuit kit. When we were supposed to rotate stations, one young lady asked me if she could stay, and she continued to ask me questions and build circuits until we had to stop for a group activity. Connections as simple as these are so impactful in a child's life and interest, and that is exactly why we do programs like Girls Rock STEAM. We've also had more focused programs such as Fun with Physics, ran by Katie Zaldak, who was also a senior at Westfield High School. Fun with Physics was solely her idea for her Girl Scouts Gold Award project, and it was catered to 3rd and 4th grade girls at every elementary school in Westfield's district. Katie's program featured high school girls also volunteering to demonstrate basic principles of physics in order to expose these younger ladies to something that she is passionate about. Talented young women such as Bridget and Katie are making incredible impacts. However, you don't necessarily have to organize a large program to instill change. I've explained how important visibility is, and making yourself visible is just as impactful. 4-H taught me a lot over the years, and to give back, I like to volunteer at 4-H workshops, for electric workshops for younger members. Specifically, I teach them how to solder. I love to help anyone I can, but I especially like to talk to the younger girls. I remember when I submitted my first electric project in 3rd grade, and I was the only girl in the room. At these workshops, I try to make myself visible. I try to show these younger girls that they can continue and work hard in electric just like I did, and that they're meant to be there just as much as anyone else is. Westfield is making incredible strides to show girls that they can be mathematicians, they can be scientists, they can be engineers, and that they can be researchers and anything else under the STEM spectrum. As once said by Pakistani activist Malala, girls can change the world, but you have to invest in them first. It is our responsibility to ensure that women have the representation and voices that they need alongside all the other voices of every advocate for STEM, regardless of background. We can make that within reach, beginning with our community and the communities around us, to ensure that the word STEMinist truly has meaning. Thank you.